Hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Fidelis. Today I would like to talk about living in the moment. Why living in the moment? See, a few days ago I had an argument with a very close friend of mine, and it's one of those arguments and you're like, wait a minute, am I wrong? Am I not seeing this right? Maybe I need a different perspective. And of course I saw a different perspective and I said, listen, this is the situation. So what do you think? Am I on the wrong? Is the other person on the wrong? What's going on? How do we resolve this? And then a few minutes later, my friend called me and said, she was like, Vitalis, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. What's the matter? And she said, how can you be okay after all that has just happened? And then it hit me, what do you mean? That's in the past. The moment it happened, it was in the past. I had to let go. Otherwise, I'd be carrying so much on my back of all the things that went wrong, of all the things that didn't work out, of all the things that name it. I cannot afford that. So when something happens, I process it right there. I figure out how to move forward, and if I can't, I put it in what I would call my prayer box, like, God, take this over, because I really cannot deal with it right now. Let me focus on something else, and I'm sure with time you'll show me why I had to go through this. I once read a quote that said, a person that thinks all the time has nothing else to think about except thoughts. And that just clicked right away, and I said, wow, you are right. I said, you know what, that's so right, because God forbid I get into an accident at around 10 p.m. Of course my car is going to get damaged. Of course there's probably going to be another person involved. Of course, then I can just sit there and start stressing. 1, is the insurance going to cover? 2, am I going to be safe? 3, how do I get out of this? 4, how could I have avoided this? All those are thoughts that just comes running through my mind non-stop. And if I cannot figure out a way to stop them, those thoughts turn into stress. And while my body was at ease before the accident, the fact that I got the accident, started getting those thoughts, they are coming and I have no way to stop them. I don't know a way to stop them. Those thoughts can quickly turn into stressful thoughts. And stressful thoughts kind of provoke your body to produce that stress hormone. And just like that, you are now prone to disease. You get it? From ease to disease. And we don't want that. Like, you don't want that. I'm 30. I value my health. And from the moment I realized that my health is actually connected with my thoughts, I'm trying to be as careful as I can with what I keep in my mind. And you know what? That's going to piss a lot of people off, because there's things I cannot tolerate anymore, and I'm not going to participate. I won't even pretend that I'm participating. If I don't feel the vibe, I don't feel the vibe. I'm moving on. And that's where living in the moment comes into play, because it's been very helpful for me. So let's assume that a stressful situation just occurred and I'm just there freaking out because all these thoughts are coming through my mind. For me to be able to stop them, I have to switch from my inner world to my outer world. That's what's called grounding. Using your senses to figure it out. And I kind of have to ground myself. I take a deep breath and I use my eyes. I say, what can I see? I'm seeing my bed. Okay, I'm grateful for my bed because I have a place to rest at night. What am I hearing? I'm hearing the fan going off. I'm grateful for the fan because the fan allows me to stay cool in Malindi weather. What am I smelling? I'm smelling pasta. My house girl is busy in the kitchen cooking for the kids, and I'm grateful for her because God knows the work that she does is so helpful because it allows me to take my mind from household chores and focus on other things most of the time. And then I'm like, wait, what am I touching? I'm touching my skin. It feels warm, it feels soft. I'm grateful for this weather. And just like that, by the time you go through all the senses, your mind has already let go of the stress. And once it's let go, I write it down somewhere. I say, you know what? Car accident today, I'll follow up with my dad, or I'll follow up with whoever I need to follow up with to know what needs to be done right. But I will not stress about it. So if someone comes talking to me an hour later like, oh my God, Vitalis, you got into an accident, I'm so sorry, girl, it's over. Like, it's done. It's a done deal. How are you? Do you want us to go for lunch? So you can imagine when my friend called me, asking me if I was okay. And I was like, actually, I am. Because I've learned that trick, and I think that it's important for everybody to figure out how to ground. So the key words to ask yourself is, what am I smelling? What am I seeing? What am I hearing? What am I tasting? What am I touching? And most importantly, how am I feeling? And at that point, I say, I'm feeling stressed. And I have to ask myself, why am I feeling stressed? Is it something that I have control over, or it's something I don't have control over? If it's something I have control over, then I have to figure out what steps I need to take to fix it. So an example, if it's I'm stressing because my car broke down and I can't take my daughter to school tomorrow, that's something I have control over, because I can either hire a car, I can call the school and see if the driver can pick her up, I can ask one of our family friends to see if they can drop her off. I have options, so I should not stress about it. Instead, I'm going to focus on what I can do about that situation. And if it's something that I really can't do, if it's something that I really can't do anything about, like that one time when my mother-in-law kicked us out, then I'm not going to stress about it. But I know that's very difficult. That's very, very difficult. It was for me too. It was very difficult for me too when I started. But what I did is I started setting timers on my phone. So I'd set a timer that says, Fidelis, how are you really doing? Every 30 minutes. And so I'd be busy with my life, and then I'll check my phone. Fidelis, how are you feeling? I'd be like, wait, how am I really feeling? And I'd sit back and I'll be like, wait, I feel stressed. I had this project that I need to have done. I haven't even started. It's due tomorrow. Then I'd have to sit back and reorganize everything and be like, you know what? That can wait, that can wait, that can wait. I need to do this project because this project is causing me anxiety. It's causing me stress, and I really cannot afford that in my life right now. After much consistency with the alarms, it became next to natural for me. So that meant every so often I'd be with my kids, we are talking, we are laughing, and then suddenly it goes quiet. I'm back to myself, my inner world, and I ask myself, how are you feeling? And the answer would be, happy your kids are here, or peaceful that this has happened, or... And I started checking in with myself. Like I would pick up a phone and call my friend just to check on them. I started checking in on myself and started changing my life myself. Because let me tell you something, you can't wait for someone out there to come and save you, fix your life up for you. Nope. You actually have to be where you need to be by yourself first. A huge advocate of love yourself first before someone else can love you. Respect yourself first so someone else can respect you. By setting an alarm on my phone to check up on me every 30 minutes, I came to realize that this was a bigger issue than I actually had thought. I came to realize that most of my day, I was spending it stressing about yesterday or about tomorrow and never really in the current moment. That meant I could go to a birthday party, but I'm busy on my phone. Everybody's there, people are having drinks while laughing there, but I'm stressing about something in my head. Although physically I'm in a place where you're supposed to have fun, but I'm really not having fun because mentally I am imprisoned by my own self. And then I started realizing, wait, I need to figure out a way to unlock this prison cell so I can be free to just enjoy life as is. And that was the key. So now each time the alarm would go off, I would just be like, oh, what do I see? I see that. What do I smell? I smell that. What do I taste? What am I touching? How am I feeling? And slowly, because I was determined, it's just kind of started catching up. I remember our very first date, May 17th. And we'd gone to this party in Worcester, Massachusetts, and it was a Kenyan event, and he had been... And Kenyans were kind of notorious for having weird events. Like, the person that's in charge of the alcohol license is not getting along with the DJ, and the DJ is not getting along with the person that's hosting. And so, yeah. But we showed up anyway because we like to support our own. And it was a very horrible, horrible night. Everybody else, you ask them, they would have said it was a horrible night because the music wasn't playing right, the speakers weren't playing right, the lights kept going off together with the music and then coming on unannounced. There was noise, it was chaotic, there wasn't enough drinks, it was just crazy. But I mean, for me, this was our first day. I chose not to focus on anything else but who I was with. And so even when the music turned off, we still continued to dance. And I remember at some point I got so tired and I was like, oh, we need to go sit down and read. We found a couch somewhere and I sat down and I was talking to John, and then I heard a familiar voice and I was like, oh my God, is that my ex? And so I'm like trying to turn slowly with style, and sure enough, he was sitting right here. And I was like, oh my God, this can be happening. This can be happening. See, if you would like to know my history with my ex, I will leave a link to the video. I don't want to talk about it right now. But anyway, so I knew that I had to do everything possible so he doesn't talk to John and John doesn't talk to him. And at the same time, I wanted to maintain my cool. You know what? I wasn't about to let my past mess with my future in this current moment. So what I did was I told John, you know what? I'm actually very tired. I feel a little bit drunk. Can we go home? And I was like, yeah, of course. I mean, picture me. I'm wearing like 6-inch heels, a very short dress, you know, and he's holding my hand. I'm walking away and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is the perfect time to say I'm walking away from the troubles in my life. But anyway, so we get in the car. Then the next day I had to work, you know. Well, so now it's during the day. I'm all sobered up. I used to work as a nurse, and so I do a lot of visits at home, give patients their medications. And I remember that day I had like 14 patients to see in the morning, and patients were asking me questions, and I'll be like, what did you say? Oh, okay. And I would respond, but then I would realize that my mind was actually not in the present moment. My mind was still stuck on last night. And I was asking myself questions like, wait, does he like me? Will he even ask me on a second date? Did he see my ex? Oh my God, did my ex think that I brought John there just to piss him off? Oh my God. And it was just, you can imagine all these thoughts going through my mind, right? Fast forward to this current moment, you know, John is my husband. We have kids together. We've been together almost 8 years, and thinking about it now, I realize how much I was imprisoning myself, how much I was not living in the current moment. Because if I chose to just be in the current moment, then come the next day, I would have known that, hey, the way he looked at me, he's obviously going to ask me for a second date. The way he held my hand, he obviously loves me. The way he was talking to me, he actually cares about me. And I wouldn't have to have all those doubts, okay? But I hadn't learned that trick yet. But now looking back, I realize that, and that's why I'm bringing this to you, so you don't put yourself through stress that you actually don't need. Now in 2022, I have made a conscious effort to always be present in the present moment. My favorite phrase right now is, it is what it is. You know, I cannot, if the universe said that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. I'm actually not going to stress about it. Because how I look at it is, before I came into this world, before I got into this body, I planted seeds of the things that I needed to learn as a soul. And every obstacle I meet with in the physical dimension, which can be in terms of a situation, a difficult person, I view it as a seed that I planted before I came here that has grown into a tree that is now in my way. Because that tree is in my way, does not mean it has to block me. From my physical aspect, I could look at the tree and be like, oh, this is too big, this person is too mean, or this situation is so hard for me, I can never move on. But if I get into that aspect, then I'm becoming a victim. I'm asking people to feel sorry for me. I'm asking for help. I'm feeling helpless. But let's be honest, if I'm playing the victim, is the victimhood going to help me? It's not. It's going to keep me at that tree, that situation, much longer than I should have, had I just accepted it and figured out, what am I supposed to learn from this? Because remember, I planted this seed before I came. My higher self knew what my physical self needed to learn during this lifetime. And so it's already something that I had agreed to prior to this. So when those situations show up, so let's say, boom, mother-in-law kicked us out. I'm like, it is what it is. It was meant to happen. And to be honest, being a victim doesn't really help you. It's okay to be the victim in the moment. Yes, something bad happened to me. It's horrible that it happened to me. I hate that it happened to me. But I can't stay there and be the victim forever. The truth is, at some point, I have to get up and be like, you know what? I can do something about it. Dylan, Kayla. My God. Well, I hate to break it to you, but the truth is that being in the victim aspect, okay, and poor me, that aspect, it's not going to help you advance or go anywhere. If anything, it's going to have you sitting in that situation much longer. So if someone kicked you out and you're homeless and you just want to be so sad at the fact that you're homeless, then you'll be so sad, you'll feel so sorry for yourself for 5 days, okay? But you'll still be homeless. Or the moment someone kicks you out, you figure out a way. You're like, you know what, I know exactly what I need to do to get myself back on my feet and how I got into this situation. I'm never going to allow myself to get into such a situation again. And just like that, before even the first day is over, you've already found an alternative. And that's the biggest difference. The thing is, these seeds that we planted for ourselves, we knew they were important for us. We knew when we were in spirit form that this was important for us to grow in this physical dimension. And to be honest, you can accelerate your growth by accepting things faster when they happen rather than refusing that they happen. I'll go back to the same example. Someone kicks you out. Automatically you have to think. The first instinct is to be like, oh my God, I can't believe this person did this. Well, you know what? That disbelief, your lack of believing, means you're not accepting it. And so it takes you longer to go through the process of that situation up until where you learn the lesson. So on the other hand, Fidelis gets kicked out and she goes, oh my God, I totally believe that the person did this. Okay, now it has happened. Now that it has happened, what do I do next? Okay, I have a plan. So now that I have a plan, what do I do to never put myself in such a situation again? And that, my friend, is how you overcome stuff and still maintain your cool, your peace of mind, and still remain present and grounded in the present moment. So if your problem started in July 2016 and your mindset is still in July 2016, complaining about all the events that happened around July 2016, well, guess what? You're holding back your own growth. You need to accept that it happened. Ask yourself, what do I need to learn from this so it never happens again? And then put measures in place in your life to ensure that you never put yourself through that situation again. If you're not doing those three things, you're going to keep seeing old patterns repeating themselves. So an example, if you have a boyfriend that beats you up today, you break up with him, but you end up with a boyfriend who really loves you and then later starts beating up on you. That's what I call an old pattern. I want you to stand up and say, you know what? If anyone decides to beat on me, I will call the cops. The moment you're being abusive, you have to deal with the consequences. So this is my plea to you. Yes, you've come across this tree. It's a very difficult situation or a very difficult person, and you really can't, and you really don't feel like you can get over it. Well, I'm asking you to zoom out and realize that not only is there this one big tree right here, there's a whole forest. Stop focusing on that tree that's in your way, that person that's in your way, that situation that seems so difficult right now. Stop focusing on it. Zoom out and realize that there's so many trees that you planted yourself. Some you've already passed and others are in your future. And so learn to look at these trees as though they are your teachers. And each time a new situation comes by, each time a difficult person comes in your way, be wise about it. Be very wise about it and learn what you need to learn from that lesson, because nothing happens by mistake. And that's why people say everything happens for a reason. The truth is, if we were to be allowed to see our future, there would be no fun in it. Every day unfolds different for us, and we love that surprise. But what we have is God's promise that the future is in His hands. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. So already we are guaranteed that as long as we're in the present moment, then God has our future in our hands. God is always going to take care of us. And it's good to have that little compartment in your mind that says God's problems, because we can't really resolve everything in life. Some things you feel like, oh my God, this is really beyond. And what you can do to yourself is shift the focus to something else. Literally, stop thinking about it. Stop magnifying it bigger than it is and just focus on something else. So I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what situation you're dealing with. I don't know what circumstance has come in your way. I don't know what difficult person is in your life trying to make your life a living hell. But what I do know is that is represented as a tree. Stop focusing on that tree that's in your way. Instead, zoom out. See the entire forest. Okay, see the entire forest with all the variety of trees, wonderful fruits that are in front of you, that's in your future. And if you can't, and if you have a hard time visualizing that, think of all the obstacles that you've dealt with in your life from your past, because those were once really humongous problems that you really could not resolve. I personally say, I remember, whenever I say I remember when, it's always a time when I was really struggling. An example, I remember when all I could buy was second-hand clothes. I could not afford new clothes. I did not have a job. So I used to shop at thrift stores in America. But now, 13 years later, life is better. And so me saying I remember when makes me understand that even this situation, a time will come when I will sit down and say, I remember when this was so difficult, and look at me now. And that is what keeps me going. And in this journey of life, as long as you're going, you're doing good. The problem comes when you stop, start feeling sad, start feeling depressed, start feeling anxious, start taking medications. No. You gotta keep moving. You really have to keep moving. Don't stop. Don't give up. And if you need someone to talk to, hey, reach out. If you enjoyed watching this, feel free to subscribe, share, like. I appreciate you. Thank you.